probably about a year ago. He was working with Will Davis in our office, and we were having an office party, and the guy just shows up. So we said, hey, come on in, join the party. And we got to talking, and I've read his book. He does great stuff. He's the founder and CEO of Temple Global Consulting Group, which specializes in small and mid-sized business development and growth, applying the same principle he brings to his clients, creating millions of dollars of cost savings. He lost 200 pounds and has kept it off for over 5 years. His inspirational weight loss stories have been featured on CNN, Huntington Post, and numerous other local and national platforms. He's lived in Hudson with his family for 17 years, but he's not a pet. We invited him anyway. So Keith, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I wish I would have known more about the dress code, because I've got pretty legs too. Oh, thank you so much, Jeff, for that introduction. I truly appreciate it. And thank you guys for having me here today. And we're here to talk today about these 5 life lessons. You know, I was talking to someone here earlier. This has all been such a whirlwind for me. A little bit about myself, as you said before. I'm a consultant. My background is actually in finance and accounting. I've actually worked for and consulted for some of the hottest brands right here in the Twin Cities. I was the institutional credit manager for Ecolab. I worked and consulted for Pentair. When Pentair spun off their service equipment business, I became the director of customer care for Core Automotive. I've been consulting with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. I've also consulted with Sierra Bravo, which is a tech firm here based in the Twin Cities, and most recently with Davenport Group, which is a premier partner for Dell. So I've been part of that whole Dell EMC merger, all at the same time traveling around telling people about how I've lost 200 pounds. So it's been a whirlwind, and it's all an accident. So as I talk to people about, well, because people want to know, well, how did you do it? How did you actually get there? And I can't really tell them how I got there, how it actually happened. When the universe asks you to lean into your purpose, you just have to go and lean into your purpose, and that's why I'm here with you guys today. And the reason, the aha moment for me being able to stand before you today having lost 200 pounds is because that picture showed up in my Facebook timeline after I had been at a New Year's Eve party. I didn't even recognize that person. I had been spending so much time living in denial about my weight and about the subsequent problems that came from being morbidly obese. I had been recently diagnosed as pre-diabetic before this picture. And it still had not sunk into me that I was almost 400 pounds. I think I was 386 pounds in that picture. At my heaviest, I was 405 pounds. So when I saw that picture, my immediate response was to be angry about it. How dare this person put my business in the street like this? I've been hiding this from myself. How dare this person show me what I don't want to see? And I called him up. He's standing in the background in the picture. I called him up, and I left a really nasty message on his voicemail demanding that he take that picture down. Take it down. He didn't answer the call. He didn't call me back. So I had some time to think about it. And after thinking about it and stop feeling sorry for myself, I used this as a catalyst, my aha moment, to actually go and get some things done. And I wasn't alone. So this picture was taken in 2010, I think it was. Then 2 years later, a study finally came out talking about obesity in America. 35% of American adults can be qualified as overweight all the way to obese. 35%. 17% of all children can be qualified in the same manner, overweight or obese. Now, if you're keeping count, 91 million people. 91 million people who have greater risks for diabetes, they have greater risks for heart attacks, they've got a greater risk for stroke. 91 million people. It's a big number. Now, if 91 million people had some disease that could be cured by bacteria, we'd be doing something about it. You'd be hearing about it all the time on the television. We'd be doing things to make sure that that didn't happen. But because we feel that this is self-inflicted, we don't want to do anything about it. Well, I decided that I was going to do something about it. And it gets worse, right? Those deals, obesity, heart attack, stroke, diabetes, 1, 4, and 7. That's the number 1, number 4, and number 7 causes of death in America at that point in time. But we're not doing anything. Another study also came out that very same year that said, if you're overweight, you have a 58% greater likelihood that you're going to be depressed. And if you're depressed, you have a 55% greater likelihood that you're going to either be overweight or you're going to be obese over time. That's a direct correlation in my mind and a lot of the scientific world's mind. They're building a correlation between the two. Something has to be done about it. And 1 in 4 adults at any given time in any year can be diagnosed with some type of mental illness. The vast majority of those mental illnesses being depression. So I'm going to be depressed. I've got all of these things going on. All the stress in my life. So how do I self-medicate? Go to the refrigerator. At least that was mine. I was self-medicating with food. I had built an unhealthy relationship with food. Now it was time for change. So the 5 life lessons really are about sustainable change. How do I actually turn away from old habits, build new habits, and then move forward in my life? And then it kind of spread that love around a little bit. And lesson number 1, the first thing that I had to learn was, know why you're doing it. In Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why, he talks about how organizations are able to actually key into the core belief system of the customers. And when you're able to key into the core belief system of the customer, you build brand equity and brand loyalty in ways that are unbreakable almost. You really can't break it. You're not going to get an Apple person to go out and buy a PC. You're not really going to get a PC person to switch over to Apple products. It's really, really hard because they have keyed into the core belief system. So how many people in here actually hire salespeople? You hire salespeople? Have you ever asked them to sell you this pen? Right? Mm-hmm. Sell me this pen. Well, the best salespeople can sell you that pen and make you want to reach into your wallet because they actually key into your why. Why do I need this pen? What is the core belief system surrounding this pen that makes me want to build a relationship with the salesperson about the pen? Know why you do it. There's power in why. It has to be yours. The one thing that I thought about was, well, I'm going to lose weight for my kids. I'm going to get healthy for my relationship. No. Those are not permanent. It has to be from me. It has to be something that's not going to change over time. It has to be something that day in and day out, there may be nuances, there may be tweaks to the system, but day in and day out, the core basis of what I'm basing it on has to stay the same. Has to stay the same. And it has to come from me. Because the kids are going to grow up and they're going to move away. Unfortunately, my wife might decide, you know what, his legs aren't pretty at all, so get rid of him. I mean, whatever it is, it can change. But me, myself, can't change. It has to come from me. It has to be permanent. And it has to be important. Finding the why is important. Why we do what we do why we go to market the way that we go to market. All of this had to happen in my own head before I could make any type of sustainable change moving forward. I had 2 or 3 different fits and starts of trying to get it done. But when I finally sat down and figured out why, I hadn't bought into the program. We have to get our customers to buy into the program. The market is competitive across the board. But if we can key into their core belief system and show them that our very mission matches their very mission, they're going to come to us every single time. Well, I was going to come to myself every single time by making sure that I had bought into my own program. And people ask me this question, so I'll go ahead and tell you what it is. What was my why? Well, my why? I wanted to be the person that I was intended to be, and not some cheap knockoff. I was being a knockoff of that person, and not the real me. The real me was an athlete. The real me was healthy. The real me was active. I wasn't active with my kids. I wasn't active in my own life. I wasn't doing any of the things that brought me joy. I was a knockoff of the person that I was. And that's not what my life deserved. That was my life. Lesson number 2, invite positive energy. I had a bunch of friends that were helping me along the way. And at the same time, I had some people who didn't like the change. Change is tough. Try changing something in your life. Try changing something in your business. The first excuse every single time. We've always done it this way. It's successful that we've done it this way. But in order to have sustainable change and take yourself and your organizations to the next level, change has to be managed. And it has to be proactively managed. And unfortunately, I had some people who did not want to come along for the change. So I had to remove all toxic influences from my life. You know how we do. We're very social people, and especially in the business world, first thing we want to do is, hey, let's go have drinks. Hey, let's go to happy hour. Hey, how many business deals have you done personally over chicken wings and beer? I've done a lot. Burger for me, but it is what it is. That, I didn't tell them, hey, there's no place for you in my life, but today, there's a diminished role for you in my life, unfortunately, because this is the path that I've been set on. And you can either come along with me, or we're going to see less of each other. And that's tough. That's not easy. But that's for every single thing in your life. You have to take inventory. I had to learn how to meditate. I had to learn to shut down my brain a little bit and take a step back. Studies have shown that through meditation, you can actually reprogram how your brain works, how it functions. The meditation was key to dealing with the removal of those toxic influences in my life. I needed to be clear-headed about it all. And I needed to make sure that it wasn't malicious, that it was something that was necessary and needed. And I also made sure that I gave people ample opportunity to come on back into the fold. This wasn't a you're gone, you're done kind of deal unless you were a truly toxic person or a truly toxic habit. And then I had to confront my own demons. I was depressed. You don't get to be 405 pounds without some medical issue. And my medical issue was depression. I had to confront that head on. And I'm a guy. I'm not going to the doctor. My arm can be hanging off. I'm going to put some duct tape on it, ice it, like my coach used to say, and keep on going. But to go to a doctor and let a doctor in here, that was difficult. That was very difficult. But in the end, you can't do it by yourself. Not when you've spent so many years building bad habits with food, in your relationships. It's good to go out and talk to someone and relieve that burden. Because you've got a lot of work to do when you're 400 pounds to get down to a healthy weight. And you've got to be clear-headed about it. And then rebuilding your brand. I'm not going to be the Thursday, let's have fun at the happy hour and eat lots of fried and barbecued foods guy anymore. And oh, by the way, I built all of these other habits because subconsciously, I knew I was overweight, I knew I was obese, so I bought big clothes. I called it hiding in my fat clothes. And in the habits that we build in our lives, we're hiding something somewhere, but better brands are transparent brands, more open brands, more colorful brands. One of the things that I tell people all the time is you'd be amazed how having a pocket square with a little color in it brightens up your mood. Also, dressing better every single day, for me, people would see the hard work and they would say, hey, you're looking great. Well, who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want those compliments to come into your life? That's inviting that positive energy into your life. And that was the catalyst for me to want to continue to do better and go further and do more so that I could continue getting this positive energy into my life. Lesson number 3. It's going to hurt. Get over it. Get over it. I had to get up and go out and be active on bad football and wrestling knees that had an extra 200 pounds slamming into them every time I walked up some stairs or tried to go down the street. My back hurt, my feet hurt, my neck hurt, my soul hurt, everything hurt. So much so that one day I was sitting on the stairs of my house and my 5-year-old daughter at the time, her name was Michaela, and I'm crying. I'm not ashamed to say it. It hurt. It hurt a lot. And she comes and she sits down next to me on the stairs and she puts her arm around me and she says, why are you crying? I said, baby, I have allowed myself to get so fat and so out of shape. Everything hurts. I don't know what to do about this anymore. And she looked at me, and she's always been my rock, Michaela. And she looked at me and she said, remember when I used to fall down on my bike, skin my knees? What did you tell me? And I said, yeah, I remember. I told you that it hurt now. But after the second or third fall, it's not a surprise anymore. You already know it's going to hurt. And you know what the measure of that hurt is going to be. But after taking those chances, you're going to learn how to ride that bike and you'll be zipping through the neighborhood like a pro in no time. She said, you already know it's going to hurt, right, Daddy? Yeah. Yeah, I do. I guess I just got to get over it. That's the wisdom of a 5-year-old at the time, bringing me back into the fold. So, I had to stop. I had to stop my own internal domestic violence against myself. Feeling sorry for myself, berating myself and putting myself down. It's counterproductive. I don't have time for that. The pain is part of the journey. You have to invite it. You can't make any progress unless you're on that journey. When you stop, when you start putting periods where commas should go, that's when you miss your blessings and your opportunities. It's only temporary. It's not going to hurt forever. Temporary. And once you get used to it, it doesn't even hurt. Sustainable, transformative change has demands of us that nothing else has. The person that you are today isn't necessarily going to be strong enough to make the changes that you have for tomorrow. And you either have to step up to that plate and meet those demands or not. It's very simple. Once you take all of the noise out of the mix, it's really that simple. Step up to the demands or not. And it really was for me. And it had to be that simple for me because I had made everything else so much more complicated. And I was tired of complicated. I couldn't deal with complicated anymore. Lesson number 4, be held accountable. Now, when you hear that word accountable, most people start thinking about drill sergeants because they equate accountability with judgment and shame, because that's how we hold each other accountable. We want to judge you. We want to shame you into the behavior that we want to see from you. So we say things like, I knew you weren't serious about this. Why are you wasting my time? Well, accountability is voluntary, but at the same time, it's also a covenant that we made with each other to get a job done at the end of the day. I'm inviting you into my life to hold me accountable for what I do and what I say I'm going to do. And that's important. And it's not judgment and shame. It's totally different. Totally different. And I'll give you an example. We were talking about bike riding earlier today. We would meet up at the cigar shop here in downtown Hudson, and we would ride our bikes from the Hudson Marina all the way to the after marina. Well, I'm a busy guy. I'm always late. I'm always running late. And about the third time, I knew the guys were going to lay into me because I'm the one holding up the show. I'm the one who needs to lose all of the weight. So I show up, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready for these guys to lay into me. And my buddy says, hey, great, you're here. Let's go. Let's go. Went on a bike ride, and when we got to the after marina, I asked him, I said, how come you guys aren't letting me have it? You know, and my buddy Jeremy turns around and says, well, that's not what this is about. We've all agreed that we're going to get this job done. And sitting around berating each other for being late isn't going to help us get the job done any faster. But you're here, and we're here to support you. That's accountability in my mind. That's accountability. Because now I have to live up to their expectations because I've invited them to hold me to a certain standard. It's critical. Absolutely critical. You have to have accountability if you're going to make any type of sustainable change in your life. You have to be accountable. It is not judgment and shame. If anybody tells you it's judgment and shame, tell them to call me. I'll tell them about it. It's a community. The covenant of community. Truth, trust, and transparency. I know you want to get this done. Let's get it done together. And it's empowering. I was never late again. I was never late. After that discussion, that pricked my soul. They were there to help me get the job done, not to judge me and not to shame me. Totally different. And the last one, lesson 5, partner with professionals. As I said before, I had to go and get some counseling. I had to get my mind right. I needed to be clear-headed about what I was doing and the reasons why I was doing what I was doing before, the unhealthy relationship that I built with food. So I had to go out and know my numbers. I had to go to the doctor. I had to figure out, hey, what is this diabetes stuff all about? What are my healthy BMI numbers, my body mass index numbers, my healthy weight for me, for my height, for my size? How do I get these things under control? I wasn't going to be able to do that on my own. There's only so much research that you can do. You have to partner with your professional. No, invest. You have to invest in yourself. Well, in our careers, we invest in education. In our careers, we invest in making sure we have the right licenses. In our careers, we make sure we have the right computer equipment. We're making investment all the time. You have to invest in yourself as well. I had to invest in getting myself a trainer. I had to invest in eating better food, which is not as easy as you think it would be. Try making a left turn the next time you go into your grocery store to go shopping. That's a marketing issue. I had to go into counseling. That's another investment. Trainers and coaches, those are other investments. All throughout every spectrum of my life, I had to make sure that I was making the right investments in people, time, materials. Just like any other endeavor in life that we're going to make investments into. It's been a rough journey. It hasn't been easy. It's had its ups and downs. But I can honestly say that I've lost 200 pounds and I hadn't gained not 1 pound back because I made very small, sustainable, transformative changes in my life that I've been able to carry through to every other aspect of my life. I stopped putting a wall between the professional Keith Trotter and the personal Keith Trotter and took the best of all of those worlds to make it happen. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
No.
Don't be shy.
I have a question.
Sure.
What are some examples of small steps in maybe your personal life that transfer into your professional life?
Okay, well, let's talk about, since I brought it up, let's talk about the marketing, food marketing issues, right? So, when's the last time you were able to go into a store and reached across that eye level for a candy bar? You can't. They don't put them at eye level. They put them at your kids' level. So the kids will put pressure on you to actually buy some of those things. So one of the small steps that I did was I made sure that I never went shopping hungry. If I was going to go shopping, I was going to have something to eat or I was going to have some water, because that's another step. Understanding the difference between being hungry and thirsty. It's the same signal in the body. And 9 times out of 10, when you think you're hungry, you're actually going into dehydration mode. Pop some water in there and see what happens. If you're still hungry after that, you're actually hungry. So, I mean, just keying into your body and making those very small changes. Another very small change, as a matter of fact, the very first small change that I made was the parking lot. Stop circling around the doggone parking lot looking for the closest spot. Actually walk. And, oh, by the way, my office is on the 3rd floor. Stop taking the elevator to the 3rd floor. What lazy person takes the elevator to the 3rd floor? Walk up. You know, and that was the beginning of that. You know, I was going to berate myself into the behavior that I wanted to have until, you know, someone broke me of that habit, and I just thought about it. Really thought about it. So I mean, so those were like some of the first steps that I took, that I just kept piling on other steps along the way. And the other thing too is about habits. It takes 60 days to get a good habit. So for all of the people who are New Year's resolutions people, start 60 days early. So that you can actually get it done. But it does. It takes 60 days to build a new habit in your body, and if you start with a small habit, it takes faster. So that's why it's 100 very small steps. You know, I'm not going to take the elevator. I'm going to walk the stairs. I'm going to stop circling the parking lot. I'm going to actually park further away and get some additional steps in.
I think what you have to say is important, especially when you take a small step. I've been through a number of the 25 pounds in 60 days or 90 days or whatever, and you get it right back. You know, it just comes right back. Because the habits haven't changed. You're dedicated to the diet, and the diet works, and it does. I mean, you can get the weight off, but the changes inside that you really have to do are the ones that really make a difference. And I think what you're saying is do this over time. Don't look at it as it's got to be a lifestyle change, not a quick and dirty diet.
Exactly.
Even though Ms. Osmond is pretty attractive, it's very unlikely that you're going to look like her when you're, at least for me anyway, that it's going to look like her when you're done. And she lost 50 pounds. She didn't say how long it took her.
That's one. And two, she can tell you how much they paid her to do it either. So raise your hand if you're about to sign an NFL contract tomorrow. No NFL people. How about NBA? Baseball? No.
Yeah.
So we're not ballers. We're not going to spend all day in the gym trying to impress somebody so they'll give us lots of money. We have to do our jobs. We have kids. We have all sorts of other responsibilities that we have to live up to. Take your time. Take your time. No one is going to show up at your house and punch you in the stomach because you didn't lose that 10 pounds by the reunion. Take your time. Just get it done. Yes, sir.
When I'm trying to build a new habit, I start tracking behavior. How many of this, whatever, counting steps, for example. Having to do that. I'm curious, what kind of stuff, if anything, were you keeping track of and recording somehow?
I'm a finance guy, so I can do anything with a spreadsheet. I can make a spreadsheet sing an opera if you give me enough time. I mean, so I did that, and I found that in the beginning that was helpful to me, but after a while it became counterproductive.
Oh, okay.
It truly did. It became counterproductive. So what I would do is I journaled a lot. So I would write down in my journal what my goals were. These are my goals. Very simple. I had 3 simple goals every single day, and they changed out all the time. And at the end of the day, I went back to the journal, and I said to myself, did I accomplish that goal, or didn't I accomplish that goal? And actually writing it down in the journal made it more solid for me, because my journal was me talking to me. And I wasn't going to lie to myself. And I didn't want to let myself down. So instead of, I had elaborate spreadsheets of steps and how much weight and how many calories and all. No, I had 3 simple goals every single day, and I held myself accountable in my journals by saying whether or not I lived up to those goals. So in the beginning, if that's going to help you with build your habit, great. But really what you want is, what the gentleman was saying, is what you want is your lifestyle to change, your mindset about these things to change. That's where the transformative, sustainable part comes from.
Keith, talk about your journey to discover or rediscover your why. Was that obvious to you, or?
No. As a matter of fact, it took a long time for me to do that, because I kept going back to, I'm a servant. That's how I think of myself. I'm a servant. I'm not going to ask someone to do something that I'm not going to do myself. And before I even ask you, I'm usually going to go out there and try to do it myself anyway, before I ask. I have a hard time depending on people to do things. And that's just part of my upbringing. That's just part of who I am. So all of my whys kept going back to outside people and outside things. It took a long time for me to come to actually saying to myself that it was okay for me to love myself, to value myself. It took a long time to get there, because I wasn't valuable in my own head. I wasn't valuable unless I was doing something for someone else. I had to say it's okay to be valuable to myself. And that's when I could actually come to my own why.
It's interesting how, when you get on an airplane, they tell you to put your oxygen mask on first, but in life we don't do that.
It seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? So it's almost selfish. I'm going to put my oxygen mask on first. Well, of course you're going to put yours on first, because you can't help somebody dead, right? As you're suffocating, you're trying to help someone else. You got to help yourself. You have to be healthy. You have to be whole in order to be valuable to anyone else.
Apart from weight, we have lots of people in our society where they're caregivers for parents or grandkids or whatever, and they stop taking care of themselves.
Right.
And at some point, they aren't going to be around to take care of that, elderly parent or grandparent if they don't take care of themselves.
Some of the most unhealthy people, doctors, nurses, they don't take care of themselves. They're busy taking care of their mom. My mother was a nurse for 30 years. I used to tell my mom all the time, sit down, please. My mother would work a 16-hour shift and then come home and do laundry. What are you doing? So we started doing the laundry to make sure it was done. But some of the most unhealthy people, they don't care. They care about themselves, but they're so busy being caregivers, they can't take the time. And it's tough. It really is tough, especially when you grow up tough in tough neighborhoods where you have to be self-sufficient. Taking that step back, it took a very long time for me to do that. Over a year, to be honest with you, before I could actually say, this is my why.
Can you identify your very first step?
The very first step was a parking lot. I wrote it down in the journal. What I said was exactly what I wrote down in the journal. What kind of lazy person circles around the parking lot looking? What kind of lazy person doesn't take the stairs? I'm on the 3rd floor, for Christ's sake. Short flights. Don't do it. So that was 1 and 2, and then number 3 was the water. Hungry, because I was doing research, and number 4 was hungry. Don't go to restaurant.
Any other questions? Keith, thanks so much.
Oh,
Thanks for
absolutely.
sharing your story. I can also see how this applies in your consulting practice. It's the same disciplines that companies ought to be using to make the big changes.
Make good changes there. There you go.
So in my office, I have a neon shark that my dad gave me.
All right.
And so as a gift for you, we have
I get a shark.
a cutting board that is the same shape. And Rich's daughter is afraid of sharks, we learned, and she was signing up for Girl Scout camp. And what are you going to be worried about at camp? And she's worried about sharks. So July and August, we're going to take off. September, we'll be back with vim and vigor, and have a great summer. And thanks, Gina, for letting us use your space here. You're welcome. Thanks, John, for doing our video. And if you need a video, his little flyer is there. Thanks, Erica, for making me look good. I just have to show up, and everything else is her responsibility. So thanks all. Have a good summer.